Welcome to Slow Home Studio. Too many people live in badly designed houses, and we want to change that.
November is Living Room Month. This is the second of our 4 episodes, and we're going to be looking this month at how to design a good living room space.
Yeah, and part of the way that you learn how to design a good living room space is you look at all the terrible examples of bad living room design.
That's an easy thing to do, right?
Yeah, there's so many of them. So we're going to look at some common pitfalls, and these are all the things that you want to avoid and not do when designing a living room.
That's right, and it was hard to just reduce it down to 4.
There are just so many.
There's so many of them, and really it comes down to the fact that people don't think very much about living room design. They think that, oh, well, it's just a big open space, and that's good enough, and that's not really true. You need to be able to design it so that the furniture fits properly without any wasted space, oriented towards a focal point, lots of natural light. If you do that, it's not so much about size, as all slow home principles are, it's about the quality of that space itself. So let's have a look at some examples.
Yeah, and the first example is a prime example, because here's a situation where the architect has actually designed a really awkward room, because we've got a 45-degree angle fireplace and then this sort of jiggy jog wall. And how do you furnish this?
Like jiggy jog?
A jiggy jog. A jiggy jog wall. It is a technical term for something that goes like this. But how do you actually furnish the space, right? Because furniture is orthogonal. It's square, right? You don't have a couch that's kind of, shaped like that, like a pentagon shape. That doesn't happen. So you have to fit these square pieces of furniture into a room that has these awkward geometries. And you end up, regardless of how you lay it out, with awkward space and wasted space. And no matter what you do, it's going to feel awkward.
Yeah. Here's another classic problem where the designer didn't really think about how the furniture was going to get laid out. Knows that you need to have a fireplace. Okay, so we've got a fireplace over there, but where's the TV? It's over on the opposite wall. So we've got 2 focal points here. Sometimes there's rooms with no focal points. Here we've got 2 of them, and so they're competing with each other, and you really don't know which way should I organize my furniture.
Yeah, you can always tell a poorly designed living space if you look at the relationship between the television and the fireplace, and often they're either on top of the fireplace, like there's just a plug there, or they're on the opposite wall. Doesn't make a lot of sense. How would you actually arrange, and then circulation through here too. You're going to be always dodging around that.
Here's a problem where we have an interior living space, and you see these a lot in long, narrow townhouses and infills and in some apartments that aren't particularly well designed. So if we look at this, look at this. This living room has no natural light. Of course, the washer-dryer does, and this closet potentially does as well, but we just don't have any natural light. And so this is going to be a room that is going to feel dark 24 hours a day. It's not going to be very pleasant to live in. And also, if we just look at it quickly, where actually would you put your furniture in here that's not going to just completely get screwed up with circulation?
Yeah, it's a real problem. And here's another typical problem. You see these a lot in condominiums or apartment-style places where you have a really long and narrow space. And so in this situation, we've got the living room, which is long and narrow. There's a natural place for the TV, but the issue here is we've also got our terrace. We have to circulate through that space to get out to the terrace. The only path is to go between the TV and the coffee table. There's not really enough room, and there's actually not really enough room to make a proper seating arrangement in this space. And look at all the space for the dining room. I mean, I know we're not talking about dining rooms, but it's interesting because dining rooms and living rooms are often not successful when they're the same proportion.
So those are all of the examples of what not to do. In our next episode, we're going to talk about the slow home design principle for creating a great living room.
See you next time.